kind of expect. 3 young guys playing up front and a young quarterback starting his first game. But that's not an excuse. We knew it was going to happen. Some things we did well, some things we didn't. Pass protection. There are times where we thought we had enough time to get it off and didn't get it off. Sometimes we didn't have enough time to get it off. We missed some throws, but we got some balls deflected. A couple guys got their hands on some balls and, got opportunities to make highlight catches. We didn't make those catches. So when you play against a good team and you have opportunities, no matter how difficult they are, you got to take advantage of them. And we didn't today. Their quarterback, DTR, I guess they call him, X Factor. Quick, athletic, explosive. You give Chip Kelly a guy like that, and we've seen that movie before. There are times we had him hemmed in, and he got out. Sometimes where we had everybody covered, and he's the guy that can take off and make plays with his legs. And those are drive extenders, and those are big-time plays. Guy made those plays, and we have to be able to contain guys like that. Got a heck of a play from a good running back also. Multiple good plays by him. We got to get him on the ground. Had a chance to tackle him, didn't tackle him. But all in all, for me, defensively, we played well enough to keep us in the game. Played well enough to keep us in the game. We got to make more plays on the offensive side. Had some opportunities, just didn't make them. I will say this too. Losing Jet Toner early in the game was really difficult. It's not often that you see a kicker get hit on a kickoff. So I need to see that film and see how that happened. But Ryan Sanborn came in and was outstanding. Kickoffs, and punts, handled both extremely well. Kudos to young freshmen for stepping up and making some big plays for us.
Hi, Coach. Is there any moment in your coaching career that you kind of compare the decimation of the offensive line right now to be able to draw some perspective and strength to get through this?
Decimation might be a little bit of a strong word, Stanford guy. But we haven't had this many injuries. There were a significant number last year and more this year. The difference this year is these guys are out. We have so many guys out for the season. Last year was kind of different guys out at different times and coming back at different times. We got 5 guys out for the year. We're hoping on Devery. Hoping Devery doesn't make it 6. Hopefully Devery can come back some point before the end of the year. But once again, we have to find out what our guys do best. And with the young group, sometimes that's hit and miss. Now we played extremely well against Washington. Didn't quite play as well this week. Tried to build a plan around what those guys could do up front, what our quarterback can do. We've got to go back to the drawing board to a certain degree. After we watch this film and see what positives there are, and make sure that we're putting our guys in position to be successful. And with the young group, that takes a little effort on our part, but that's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. So we'll try and take care of these guys and get them ready to play next week.
Coach, you've said before after games in which the offense struggles that it's on yourself and the coaches to try to put guys in the best position possible to succeed. On first reflection, do you feel like that occurred tonight, and do you feel like there was anything you wish you could do better in hindsight?
A lot of things I wish every play that didn't work, I wish we didn't call it. That's the only way I can answer that question. We're going to try to find the best way possible to put our guys in position. And when it doesn't work, we're going to go back and find a combination of game plan, based on who we're playing, and what our guys can do. Like I said, with a young group, that's hit or miss sometimes. We haven't seen these guys play a lot. This is game 1, really, for one of our freshmen up front, and game 6, 5 for another one, and game 7 for another one. So, but it's not an excuse. We have to find out what those guys can do well and give them an opportunity. We should have run the ball better than we did tonight. We got to find out why and make sure that we put those guys in position. Cameron Scarlett's running extremely hard, trying to make plays, trying to break tackles. Now ball security's on him. We can't turn the ball over. We've got to be better at ball security, and our guys are trying really hard to make plays. And we've got to try our best to put them in position to do that.
Did you ever consider making a change at quarterback at any point during the game? And
No.
Well, I guess why not?
Answer is no.
Okay. And then the second part, how confident are you that either KJ or Davis will be ready for the next game?
We'll see. We'll see.
Coach, you talked about the defense doing well in keeping the game. I'm curious about some individuals. Thomas Booker in particular seemed to have a really strong game, what you saw from him on first review, and also Stuart Head getting the nod at safety and certainly flashing in run defense.
Yeah. If we would have been able to score some more points early, would have been nice to be in a closer game. Because I thought defensively, this is a tough team to slow down. But Thomas Booker he's growing up in front of our eyes. He's becoming that playmaking defensive lineman that we know he can be. He's only going to get better and better. He's quick, he's strong, and now he's building that confidence that he can get off blocks and make plays, not just hold gaps, but really get off and make plays. So that needs to be contagious. We need that from all those guys up front. I thought Casey Tuhill again played a good game. We had some guys make some great efforts, but not enough.
The punt block that you had, was that something that you saw that you thought you could exploit, or was that just a great individual play, or what happened on that one?
Yeah, every week Coach Almar makes sure we find a couple returns and one or two blocks that we think can work based on how they protect, what they do. In this group, they like to roll their group a little bit, and sometimes they block it straight, sometimes they roll it one way or the other. And our guys knew if they rolled it, there was a way that we could try to block it, and if they stayed straight, there's another way we could try to block it. But what it took is anytime you get a block kick like that, it's the guy who blocked it, but usually the guys right next to him that did their job so that he can get through. So it was a great job by those guys. We worked that multiple times this week, and it was great to see it happen for us.
Coach, the injuries on the offensive side of the ball are getting a lot of attention, but curious with what the defense is having to deal with. It was a pretty short rotation tonight, a lot of walk-ons and former walk-ons in the linebacker core. Can you kind of share your thoughts on what the defense had to overcome with that and what Coach Anderson was able to do with his own injury issues?
Yeah, it's football. I've said this before. We haven't changed what we do drastically, and we were probably the healthiest team in America for about 10 years. Fewest injuries and the shortest returns, and the guys that were injured came back healthy and didn't get injured again. That was our mode for about a decade. And sometimes the pendulum swings back the other way. We started this year about as deep as we've ever been. And ever, I include those first 4 years with this program with Coach Harbaugh. We were as deep as we've ever been, and we're now as injured as we've ever been. We were 2 deep plus on the offensive line. We were 3 deep at inside linebacker, 3 deep or more across the defensive line, 2 deep at every position in the secondary. And there's no commonality. We've looked at all the commonality as far as workouts, as far as shoes, as far as surface, as far as positions and what we're asking them to do, as far as practice, et cetera. And there's no correlation. It's just football. So guys get banged up. Hey, that's why we have 100-plus guys on the team. Everybody's practicing, everybody's working, and when somebody goes down, somebody else has to come up. And honestly, up until this point, guys have come in and played extremely well, and we expect that. That's our standard. So we recognize that this is difficult. It's not easy. But when things are easy, then they're not special. So for us to get what we want, which is just to find another way to win next week, we got to see who's healthy, work them, get them to do what they're supposed to do, get them to feel good about what they're doing, and get them to play fast. And we got great leadership on this football team. We need those guys to step up and keep everybody pushing so we can play better next week.
I know when you're dealing with this age group, you kind of never know what you're going to get game to game, but are you surprised after the Washington game, which is probably your best game of the season, to now, which is what happened tonight? I guess how surprising was that?
I've been coaching long enough to not be surprised. Well, all you can do is prepare and push. So sometimes you step back a little bit when things are going well. When things aren't going well, you lean on your leadership. You look at what you're doing. You try to change things up. As was mentioned earlier, they were doing a great job against the run. They're loading the box, so we switched up. We got to make some plays outside. Made a couple really nice throws. Guys had a chance. Made one big catch. Made a couple difficult ones that didn't make some of the special ones. That's all we can do is continue to do what we believe is right and good for our guys. And our guys got to go out there and play. So week to week, it's a different existence, right? We had to close the door on this one, learn the lessons that we need to learn, and open the book on the next week.
David, what was the injury to Jet? Did he just get his bell rung, or was there an actual?
No, it was a lower body injury.
Anything else for Coach? All right,
Thank you.
Casey, too, though. Go ahead with a question from Casey. You're welcome to come up, too.
It's really bright up here. Hey.
Curious your thoughts on how the defense responded after those first two scoring drives by UCLA.
I thought we responded decently, but it doesn't really matter, honestly, because we still gave up, too many big plays. We still gave up that touchdown at the end. That was disappointing. But, I think we had some moments, but, again, no one wants to write about our moments, right? We gave up 34 points. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but I think there were some things to build on, but we need to start building on those things faster.
How tough is it to kind of fight human nature for guys to try to make big plays when they know that momentum needs to be turned, because it's all contained loss sometimes and guys maybe not doing their job?
Sure. I think, yeah, it is human nature. You want to help your team, but the best thing you can do is help your team by doing your job. And we've seen that all year. We saw that in the Washington game. When we play our best defense, we do our job, and then you make plays in the framework of doing your job. And that's not hard. That's just rushing, getting the ball out, things we need to do more of. But yeah, it's really just comes down to doing our jobs.
Casey Thompson-Robinson, great runner in his own right, but how frustrating is it when you guys, he's dropping back to pass, you guys almost get to him, you see him dance away, and now he's 15, 20 yards.
Extremely frustrating. There's nothing I hate more than missing a quarterback, but he's a talented kid, and a couple times, we let him kind of shimmy on through the A and B gaps, and that's on us. We got to have some better rushes. We got to be aware. But yeah, talented guy, really, really good at moving in the pocket, and we probably just should have focused more on that early on in the game.
What's the sense of frustration like coming off your best game of the season as a team to come out with this one?
Sure. It's never great when you take a step back, right? Because I thought we had some good momentum after that game, was feeling good, and then we just came out and didn't perform. But I think that's a really good lesson for us. I think that's something we really got to build off of, because this is the Pac-12. No team's offense is going to lay down because we had a good game last week. UCLA is really talented. Chip Kelly's a great coach. They have a great scheme, and they put up a lot of points on us, and we should have been better. We should have just executed better, but we just didn't tonight. Yeah.
Then it seems like the defense kind of adjusted and held them fairly solid for the next two and a half quarters. What changed in your eyes?
I think they jumped us a little bit at first, had some big plays, and I think we settled down. Again, coming back to kind of doing our job, but that's really what I feel like with defense. We settled down, were able to kind of lock into what we needed to do, played team defense, and it started working better for us.
What did you see from Thomas Booker up front?
Great player. He had a good game. He was disruptive in the backfield. He's a really good football player. But at the end of the day, with how defense operates, just one guy, making those plays, being disruptive just isn't enough. We need everyone to be doing that.
It seems like you guys really had an answer for Felton, who's so explosive, who can dial up long distance touchdowns, but really bottled them up, especially in the rushing situations. What did it take to really bottle them up there?
I mean, I think just understanding the personnel. They're just athletic group, like you said. I mean, really can get after it in the passing game. So we understood that coming in, and we tried to make that an emphasis. That's good. Thanks, guys.